Hi everyone, my name is Erin and I'm part of the children's programming team at the Central Branch of the Buffalo and Erie County Public Library. I'm the one in charge of the children's fiction and graphic novel collections, and so today I thought I'd share with you just a few books from those categories that I enjoyed that have come out in the past year or so. The first one is Scary Stories for Young Foxes by Christian McKay Heidecker. The haunted season has arrived in the Antler Wood, and 7 fox kits, looking for a scare, sneak out to find the storyteller, who tells them tales of Mia and Uli, foxes who are separated from their litters and discover a dangerous world full of monsters. In order to find a den to call home, they must venture through field and forest, facing unspeakable things that dwell in the darkness. Can the 7 kits make it to the end of the story? And better yet, can you? So this one I did find to be genuinely creepy, so if you have those kids who are always looking for a scary book, this is one to give them. It does delve into some tough topics, touches on things like disability and abuse and things like that, but it does end up uplifting in the end, and really it's about just pushing forward even when the odds are against you. So that's one to look at. On the opposite end of the spectrum, we have Stand Up Yumi Chung by Jessica Kim. On the outside, Yumi Chung suffers from #ShyGirl problems, but on the inside, she's ready for her Netflix stand-up special. All she needs is a stage and courage. Then she stumbles on an opportunity that will change her life, a comedy camp for kids taught by one of her favorite YouTube stars. The only problem is that the instructor and all the students think she's a girl named Kei Nakamura, and Yumi doesn't correct them. As this case of mistaken identity unravels, Yumi must decide to stand up and reveal the truth, or risk losing her dreams and disappointing everyone she cares about. So first I'd like to say that this is an Own Voices book. Jessica Kim was born in America to Korean immigrant parents. I thought this was just a nice fun book. Yumi is a great relatable character, just trying to figure out how she fits in, trying to be herself in an awkward time. And it's great because it really comes together and shows about family and just finding out, not just being who you are, but also listening to what other people have to say. And so she really meets her family halfway, and even as she comes into her own. So I thought that was just a great message. Then we have, by Aaron Reynolds, The Incredibly Dead Pets of Rex Dexter. Rex Dexter is itching to have a dog, but ends up with a pet chicken for his birthday instead. 1 hour and 14 minutes later, the chicken is dead by a steamroller, Rex is cursed by the Grim Reaper, and wild animals are haunting Rex's room, hounding him for answers. Even his best friend Darvish is not going to believe this, and that kid believes everything. Rex's uninvited ghostly guests are a chatty, messy bunch, and they need Rex to solve their mysterious, deadly departures from the Midling Falls Zoo before it happens again. But how? So I thought this is a very funny book, just a very dry sense of humor. I'd say probably like that category of kids who like the wimpy kid sort of humor are probably going to like this, even though this one does have sort of those supernatural, fantasy, spooky elements. Mostly it's played for laughs. There is a good mystery in it, though. I will say, if you're tired of the protagonists who are just sort of obliviously mean to their supposed friends, give this one a pass. But overall, I thought this was a good one. It had a fun mystery and a surprising amount of heart. So maybe give that one a try. Also want to touch on a few graphic novels. The first one is actually a nonfiction one called Consent for Kids. I'm not going to give a summary because it's pretty self-explanatory. It's a book about consent. But what I really like about this one is consent is an important topic, but you tend to think of it as a more mature topic. But this one really goes into, it gives a lot of very kid-friendly examples for how consent works, how to set boundaries. Talks about things like you have an aunt who wants to pinch your cheeks and you say, well, maybe not, maybe a high five instead. Or things like, just because someone is standing by the pool wearing their swimsuit doesn't mean they want to be pushed into the pool. Or just because maybe one time you think it's funny to have your friend throw a pie in your face, but after that you're like, no, I've changed my mind. And so it talks about like all those little aspects of consent while using like very straightforward and simple examples. So I would definitely recommend this one by Rachel Bryan, and another one just came out by the same author about worry and anxiety. So that's another one to look for. Next we have Investigators by John Patrick Green. Mango and Brash are the investigators, sewer-loving agents of SUIT, Special Undercover Investigation Team, and scourge of supervillains everywhere. With their vests, very exciting spy technology, and their tried-and-true toilet-based travel techniques, the investigators are undercover and on the case. And on their first mission together, they have not one but two mysteries to solve. Can Mango and Brash uncover the clues, crack their cases, and corral the crooks, or will the criminals wriggle out of their grasp? So I know if any of you remember my presentation from a couple years before, I do enjoy John Patrick Green. This one is a little trickier, or not trickier, a little more advanced than some of the other ones he's done. He's done some really early reader ones. This one is more a full story. I'd say still good for reluctant readers. There's a mystery in here. There's a lot of jokes and puns. And this is the sort of book where there's also a lot of little references and things like that for the adults to catch too. So both kids and the adults reading this with them can have a good time. Next we have Snapdragon by Kat Leigh. Snapstown has a witch. At least that's the rumor. But in reality, Jax is just a Crocs-wearing, internet-savvy old lady who sells roadkill skeletons online, after doing a little ritual to put their spirits to rest. It's creepy, sure, but Snap thinks it's kind of cool, too. They make a deal. Jax will teach Snap how to take care of the baby opossums that Snap rescued, and Snap will help Jax with her work. But as Snap starts to get to know Jax, she realizes that Jax may in fact have real magic, and a connection with Snap's family's past. I absolutely love this book. I'm going to be bad at explaining why it's so good because I just like it that much. It's a great friendship story. You see Snap here develop a friendship with another kid in her class, or kid in her neighborhood rather, who is actually a trans girl. Jax is a great character. I don't know what to say about it because it's just that good. Everything comes together so nicely. It has those light fantasy elements while still having a lot of just real things in it. So just, I don't know what to say, just give this book a try. Next, I want to touch a little bit on DC Comics. Last year started putting out these graphic novels for kids. And they did a lot of, here's some Superman, you got Green Lantern and Wonder Woman. And those ones are good too, it's Black Canary. But very recently, they started putting out ones also that are new characters, which I think is great, because like the Superman is good for the kids who know these characters and want to read about them, but sometimes you just want a new character too. And these are the two that I really liked. This one, I couldn't find the actual book today because it's checked out, but these are the ones I really enjoyed. Primer is about a girl who's in the foster system, has been for years. She ends up finding this body paint, and each different color gives her a different superpower while she has it on. And so she has to overcome her past and figure out what to do to save her new family. And Anti-Hero is about one girl who wants to be a hero. She has super strength, and another girl who's a super genius, but she's using her powers or her intellect for bad right now because she's trying to save her mother, who is in and out of the hospital. And they end up switching bodies and have to learn what it's like to be the other person. And so those are a couple cute stories that I'd recommend for any kid who likes the superhero genre. Then last, as a Shakespeare fan, I would be remiss if I did not talk about Yorick and Bones by Jeremy and Hermione Tankard. Yorick is a skeleton who was just dug up after a few hundred years of sleep, and now he wants to find a friend. Bones is the dog who did the digging, and though he can't speak, he can and will chomp, much to Yorick's frustration. What will become of these two unlikely companions? Will Yorick ever find the friend he seeks? Will Bones ever find a tasty treat that does not talk back? The course of true friendship never did run smooth. So this book, it's a pretty simple book, but also all of Yorick's speech is in iambic pentameter. So this is a good one. So it's a pretty simple one, and if you want to just leave it at that, you can leave it at that. But also, that does make it a great introduction to like a poetry unit or Shakespeare discussion, because there are a lot of lines that are like direct references to Shakespeare things. So that's another thing to look for. And that's all I have. Thank you everyone for watching, and happy reading. Bye.